Hello, hello, it's me, Annalisa, with my spiritual friend. I'm back. Hello, everybody. Thank you for your patience. I hope everybody's doing well. I've got a few people in the queue, so let me look at, I need to go back to Charlie. I've got you. I've got, okay, ready. Ashley. Hang on, let's start the list. And then I want to have a few announcements. Gia, I've got you. Regine, I have you. And oh, sorry, I would say Footbix, but it's Fort Bronx. Sorry, dear. All right. Are we ready? Let me check my other account since I've still got some of you on the old one. Oof. All right. Oh, I also have Devry on here for 2 if she's here. Devry, did you show up this week? Because you paid for 2 last week and then didn't show up. So I've got you here if you need it. I just remembered that. And then also, I don't know if Norma's here, but Norma had one a while ago and never. So I sent out an email today. And first and foremost, my psychic development circle had to wait a week because of all of the smoke and stuff that we had to deal with last week with the Canadian wildfires. My kids got out of school early, and it was too close to the time, so I just went ahead and pushed it back a week. There's still lots of room if you guys want to join. It's $175 for 4 weeks, and I laid out online. It's the first week is introduction to your intuition. The second week is sort of developing it a little bit more. The third week will be introduction to mediumship. So you sort of see the difference. There's not much, but there is a little bit of a difference. And then the fourth week will be giving a little bit of reading. You're sort of giving readings throughout. So it's not just a, oh my God, but it's a little more rounded reading. You're not getting them, Julia? Maybe I don't have the right email address. Hello, Miss Devry. You can always sign up for another email with it. I don't know, maybe re-sign up and see. Hi, Rathka. So if you want to join, come join. It's really, there's a few of you who've done them and you've enjoyed them, and it's on a Thursday during the day. So it would work with your schedule, Julie, since I know that you're over across, you're in Scotland, I think. So yeah, I've been dealing with a headache for the last 2 days and I don't know why. That's all exciting. So I'm going to turn the light down. So if it's a little dimmer, just deal with it. If I could sit in the dark, I'm kidding. It just is like calmer on my face. So, okay. So what else do we have as far as announcements go? I think that's it. That's my main one. I came across this really awesome, and I'm going to share it with you here. I shared it on TikTok. I'm going to read it to you. Can you guys handle that? It's this really freaking awesome affirmation. And so you guys know that I love, yay. I really love affirmations. I really believe that our thoughts create our reality, and just really how we speak about ourselves and to ourselves is everything. And that our belief systems are the things that sort of block us from coming out of our little shells and being the most amazing, shiny beings that we can be. So, and that those come from all different kinds of places, unintentional and intentional. And I'm not looking at you right now because I'm just pulling up this affirmation because it's really, really good. Ready? Okay. So this woman was talking about we always worry about, not always, but in many religions, and like so they and in even in the new age spiritual practices, they talk about negative energy and people's energy really affecting you. And a lot of us hold back from shining our shiniest, brightest selves because we're worried about backlash, right? We're worried about the way people are going to respond to us, the people that we know, the people that we don't know, the judgment that we're going to receive. And maybe they're not giving it to you to your face, but all the whispers behind our back, and then all how that energy affects us. This is something that I have dealt with for a long time, also because it's this idea of like, if I'm not perfect or haven't been a perfect person in the past, right? Always like holding my face just right. Who am I to sit here and teach anything spiritual? Because like, what am I a hypocrite? But we all learn and grow. And like, or I mean, I like snap at my kids. I just snapped at them because I was like, I keep asking you and you're not listening. It's driving me crazy. That thing. And I think every parent suffers from that, but still. But then how do I show up here and be like, oh, it's just like love and light. Anyway, so this affirmation was really cool because I was like, oh, that's so like, because I do believe that we can be connected to energy and all that other stuff, but I don't want to be afraid of it, right? But I do believe that things affect us, and also like getting over that little in our head. So here's the affirmation, and the woman on TikTok that said it is Avi. I want to give her credit for it. But it was like such a, when when you get that, like you hear something, you're like, oh, that's it. So I don't really know much about her other stuff. I just started following her, but I saw that and I was like, that's really cool. I unfollow and follow people all the time because like they may say something that resonates with me and I want to see kind of what else they have to share. And then the rest of the stuff might be like, for me, a little off the deep end. And I'm like, I'm not flying with this stuff so much. So here it is. Ready? Any energy sent in my direction, whether spoken or in thought form, I transmute it and I use it to my advantage. It only makes me shine brighter, be more creative, and it gives me more to give because they are giving me their energy. That's it. I thought it was fabulous. And I shared it with my kids because I thought like especially my daughter who's in 4th grade and she's having a hard time because this year the kids are a little bit like, I think the kids that like, they're all the kids that were kind of like pulled out of school halfway through 1st grade and like then at home for a year and a half because she didn't even do half days. Like my kids didn't go back until they were back in school fully and not doing Zoom because they just, didn't want to. I'm like, whatever, it's fine. And a lot of the kids in her grade have impulse control issues and don't really respect boundaries. Then plus on top of it, all of the changing that happens with 4th and 5th graders, right? And they're sort of emotionally delayed in many ways. And so and a lot of them were exposed to a lot of things that maybe they wouldn't have been had they been in school instead of at home with like older siblings and maybe family members and inappropriate things, yada, yada, yada. Anyhow, I shared that with her because I thought just like you take all that negative stuff that they send your way and like, just like be like, I'm going to use that and like gobble it up and make me stronger. Makes me think of the scripture, no weapon formed against me will prosper, but takes it to another level. Yeah. So I don't do a lot of the Bible stuff because I think there's increments of wisdom there. I definitely don't think it's all terrible, but I just think I don't know. I haven't resonated enough with that form of religion. And I don't resonate a lot with a lot of the stuff the New Agey people do in many ways, many aspects of like the whole fear-based stuff and like being afraid and not standing in your power because, I don't know. It's not what I've ever known spirituality or God to be. And so I don't know. I think we're here to heal our stuff, figure our stuff, and just like enjoy the experience as much as possible. There's a lot of affirmations in there, but I think that there's been a lot of power and control wrapped around it tightly to, keep other people down. All right. And that always fails eventually. It may take several thousand years, but that stuff fails eventually. Eventually people stop. Anyway, okay, so let's go. Ashley, can I read your thing out loud? Only because it validates what I read the last time. Is that okay? Are you cool with that? I want to yes or no on that one first before I do it. Julia, did I put you in here? Oh, no, I didn't. That's from last week on my other account. Okay, got Gia. Okay, perfect. Let's see. Do you want me to put my Venmo link on here, Rothka, and see if just clicking it would help? I have to look at what it is. It's just at Annalisa Schwartz. Okay. Okay. If or you know, you can get me later. I know where to find how to find you. I know how to get a hold of you. Okay, so I'll add you to the list. So let me see. Ashley said yes. Okay, perfect. I didn't oversay. She was so sweet. So my youngest daughter, I put Ashley and not Rothka. Sorry. I was thinking Ashley. And then so we went to a little party so my daughter was in preschool with this little girl. She's in kindergarten this year, and her friend is a year behind her. She's going into kindergarten next year. So she had a little graduation party at her house. And her parents are beyond really nice. Her mom is one of those people that I'm like, she's very extroverted and very kind, and so it's so easy for her to like welcome and like make you feel warm, and just like you've been friends forever. Like she's just one of those people. And so we were over at their house or whatever. We got there a little late because my one daughter was having tummy issues, and we went over there, and she's like, whatever, they're having a blast. They can stay. You can stay. We're fine. Like we're just sitting outside talking, but like the party was over. We're still hanging out there way, way beyond what she had in her times. But she's so lovely and so wonderful. And she's a small business owner, and she owns these really cute. So you guys should check them out. They're so, so adorable. They're special occasions. So they don't like, if you do the leather ones, I think they might not last because she doesn't seal them, but they're so cute. So I'm bragging about her. And then also don't forget about, I sent it out in my newsletter. I need to put it in the description here, but Victoria, who does astrology readings, she offered and I sent it out in my newsletter, 25% off of a reading if it's your first time. And all you have to do is email her. You can either do it through her website or through her Instagram. It's Victory Astrology is her Instagram. She's fabulous. She's a really talented reader, and she's a no BS reader, kind of like me. And these shoes, I want to find her page because let me look at it. I think it's City. I want to tell you the right way. It's City Shoes. Sneakerized City. So it's SNEAKERIZED City is her Instagram handle. And she's had like influencers and celebrities and stuff wear them. And she's just so, so super talented. And she has her own designs, and then you can commission them. And she does them on Converse. Like here's a set from, let me see if I can show you it. Can you see that? How cute that is? Like just adorable. And she's super talented. Hi, Natalie. I'm just talking about her. Anyway, you should look at her stuff. So yeah, so check her out because if you have like she does take it like if you're doing just she has a window because she has kids and it's not her full-time job and but if you want them, they're adorable, like as a gift or something for somebody. Hi, Joelle. Her Instagram is sneakerized. Here, let me write it here. I think I spelled it right. My head hurts. So, Sneakerized City. And she's just very talented. And I'm all about supporting my friends and their businesses and all of that stuff. Like she even does little tiny ones and she does all different sizes and whatever. She's super talented. So, like, I guess this was for a little girl who was going to be a big sister. Oh, you can see them. Like, how cute are those? Anyway, that's that. That's my plugs. My two people, my plugs for the week. Okay, no problem, Joelle. Okay, so let's go. Ashley. Okay, I'm going to read Ashley's question so that you know where we're at from last week because I also like to post validations. It logged me out. Boo. Give me 2 seconds. Anyway, my kids had a blast, and then she has this little boy who's just the scrumptiest scrumpty poo little guy. All right, so Ashley said she always leaves a very long message, which is fine. She said, "Hi, Annalisa. So I went to ask about the appointment, like you told me to. You were right that it was a woman with fair skin that would help me. She couldn't give me an appointment as it's only done online or by mailing them a form to ask for an appointment. Such a hassle, but I did it. It takes days for them to receive the form, so I will be trying online again tonight at midnight." With my last contract, my boss said it was renewable to a permanent contract. This next one was supposed to be a permanent one. It's on the hiring promise, and they asked me about that at my visa appointment last year. He told me on Thursday that the next one will be another temporary one. He's lied about so many things, and I regret leaving my old school even more. You told me that before you saw me. You see me saying 2 years. What do you see next? Is it the school itself going to be closing? Which is no, I don't feel like the school itself will be closing. I do feel like he might be moving on for somehow. I don't understand that, but is it me moving or something else here? I know you want to stay there permanently, so or in that country permanently. You do not have to apologize. I'm fine with that. It's Annalisa. Shakurta, these are paid readings and they're $12 a reading and 30% I always donate to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. Hi, Natalie. You can just type it on here. So I've got you in the list for a question. So it might be a little bit before I get to you. You do not have to apologize. No worries. I just always correct people with my name because your name is important. And then if you don't do it in the beginning, then people will call you by the wrong name forever. And that becomes embarrassing then when like down the road you figure out like, oh my God, that's not their name. And so I'm saving you embarrassment and all of that down the road. Okay. So Ashley, can you tell me your boss's name? Just the first name is fine. So something's going to happen Or I actually think you're applying for permanent residency there, like maybe even dual citizenship or something like that. Nicholas is his name. Does he have bad teeth? And does he smoke? Because I just feel like it's hard. Like when I say his name, I just feel like I can't breathe quite right. And I also feel like maybe there's something going on with his teeth or his mouth. Okay, great. I'll check for your donation. The list is a little bit long. He vapes. Okay. Okay. So that's what I'm feeling there. And I just feel like his teeth are bad. It could be that, like, I guess vaping is really extra bad. Like smoking is bad for your gums and your teeth and stuff, but I think vaping is like extra bad. Um, he doesn't own the school, right? Like he just works for the school. Because I feel like something happens in like 6 months with him where he's not going to be there that much longer. And somebody takes over. Okay, I'll try and hurry through him. He's the owner. So it may be that he sells it. I don't feel like the school is closing, but I feel like something shifts where he's not there all the time. Maybe he hires somebody to do the work for him. I'll hurry through him. Maybe he hires somebody to do the work for him. And maybe I'll, if anybody who's in the United States wouldn't mind me to push her to the front, and there's somebody else who, if you guys wouldn't mind if I did the people that are overseas, that way they're not, they can go to bed. If anybody's offended by that, is that okay with everybody? And now I'll focus on you, Ashley. Your contracts are a year long, right? Because I was trying to say maybe I got the 2 years wrong, because I can be wrong. Not 100% all the time. I'm not perfect. No one is. I feel like within the next 2 years, you get to apply for it. So at some point, you're going to, maybe it's after this year, you get offered a permanent. He's complaining about money already, so I don't know about hiring someone. You can't give me the other teacher a permanent contract. So maybe it's that he sells the school and it's bought out by somebody else, but I feel like he's leaving or something happens where it changes. I feel like he's already planning this. Like this is something he's already kind of putting into the works. He wanted a bigger lotion, but he can't now. Lots of kids are leaving. Lots of kids are leaving because his parents don't like dealing with them. I just feel like, it's this feeling of him selling it. I don't know how to explain that, but it's a feeling of him not being there. but you're still staying there. So it may be that he sells it and they keep the teachers because you're still mid-contract. They can't just end it. But I do feel like you're applying for permanent residency within, I'd say, 18 months to 2 years in that time frame. You're not going to leave there. You're going to be there forever. So I know that doesn't help, and because it feels so like, I would say maybe if you're doing manifestation and visualization, if it's too hard to see staying there because it's all of the things that are frustrating you about it, maybe just see yourself typing to me like, I'm applying for permanent residency, which then answers all of the other issues that you're up against. Because sometimes it's so hard for us to fathom like the big stuff, like how could this change? How would this be different? So if you can just pick something that is like, I can see happening, but like all the other stuff, it's like our brain wants to go to try to problem solve it. And when you're manifesting and like sending out into the universe, this is what I want, sometimes it's hard to fathom all of that. You know? He and his wife own it. She's a teacher too. There's 4 teachers. The only other teacher will be going to maternity leave at the end of the year, so he'll need to hire another teacher. This is why I'm telling you, I know you're going to stay. Something happens in 6 months. So it's like you're going into the rational. These are all of the things that are happening. This is why it's spiraling out of control. This is why it's going, but like that. And that's very natural for all of us to do. Like I've done it. I can guarantee you every single person that's listening has done it. This is why I'm telling you, like, I can't, those are great facts and details. But if I read that, I'm reading your energy and I'm reading the anxiety. And so I'm sort of going to go, okay, that's nice. And I'm going to sound like a jerk going like, we're putting that in the box over here. And that's great information, but I don't really care about it because I'm telling you that what I'm getting is there's something happening within the next 6 months. And it may be a shift. Maybe he goes on leave and she starts running it. I don't know, but there's a shift where I don't see him as involved. And I see you within the next 2 years applying for permanent residency. I'm not seeing all of the steps on there. And maybe that's just the way it is, that sometimes they won't show us all of the exact steps because if I said it to you, you would try and force it to happen. And that never works, right? When we try to put pressure on something to happen, that's sort of, well, I'm going to go start doing all these other things. And they're like, but if you start doing all those other things, then it doesn't fall into the place the way we need it to. Right? Just like some of the people who come on here and they're like, I'm going to fall in love. Tell me exactly what he looks like and where I'm going to meet him and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I can't do that. I'll let you know in just a minute, Natalie. Okay. All right. And then I have to just check to update the list here. So Charlie, if you want to ask your question. And then actually, who was it that just said they're overseas and it's 11 p.m. there? Do you guys mind if I bump that person into the front? I do want to be respectful of everybody's time. I know you're all here, but I also know that at 11 o'clock, I'm tired and, tomorrow's Monday. I think that's Shkurta Hoxa. Shkurta. Yeah. So I'll do Charlie's and then are you guys okay with me doing? You're welcome. I think, I think is going to happen is I go ahead and try the appointment, But I think you're going to end up getting it through the mail. Thanks everybody for being understanding. And then, okay. All right. I'm having an issue with an inconsiderate upstairs neighbor. The only solution is for me to move. I want and need to stay in my current building. Will it work out? It's $12 a question, and I donate 30% to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. I average about donating, when I donate out over the year, I think it's around $2,500 at the end of the year. So that's for every dollar we donate, it's 3 meals. So that's a lot of meals that we get to provide for others. So, okay. Do you know your upstairs neighbor's first name? Like the immediate feeling I got, which just sounds weird, is like, you don't have to move. You just need to manifest them moving. I feel like their lease may be up. I'm getting 2, so I'm leaning towards 2 months, but the outside chances it's February. I feel like they have wood floors and no carpet and no like sound barrier in between the floors below. So it's just like I keep hearing things rolling around on the floor and feeling like vibration of like TV and stereo. I don't feel like you're going to have to move out. I feel like they're going to end up moving out. And I don't think it's all the way in February, but I always say that because I got 2 and I'm leaning more towards 2 months. Do you know what kind of car they drive by chance? Oh, she walks like an elephant. The vibration. I don't think it's intentional. Like, I don't think she's like, I'm going to walk around and be the most annoying person in the whole world. I just think some people are heavy walkers. There's also the aspect of like, and this is not, but it's like, that's what happens when you live in multiple family dwellings, right? Where you just do, like, I'm extremely sensitive to people's energy. So, and I didn't realize how much I was picking up from neighbors until I moved into a single family home. She screams in the middle of the night. I don't mean, I'm not like, this isn't like I'm excusing it. I think she's literally oblivious to how her energy affects others. I don't think it's like, I'm going to be the biggest jerk ever. Okay. Do you know when she moved in? Does 2 months make sense for when she'll be like, I don't feel like she'll be there that much longer. But here's the other aspect of it: manifest it. Like, just like, if you can't see her moving out, like manifesting a moving truck and she's out the door and she's loading it up. So it might be 2 months, maybe like September, which is, that's 3 months maybe, but still. No, end of August. So that could be end of August, could be 2 months, right? Yeah. Because if she moved in and anyway, manifest her getting a job out of state and then having the most amazing, quiet, fun, relatable neighbor. Yeah, she's not going to be there forever. But then again, just visualize it. Like instead of getting really frustrated, like when things happen, just be like, oh my God, isn't it so amazing that she's going to be leaving in a couple months and I won't have to put up with this? Like go into that mode instead of like the anger mode, because that just sends that energy that way. It builds on it. Okay. Shkurta, you want to ask your question? You can do it. You too can be a magical, powerful manifester. Can you please tell me what R's first name is? And you can always delete the comment afterwards. It just helps me to connect with the energy. Because what happens is when you're, and I know this doesn't make any sense, like you should be able to know everything, but I have like a thing where if people don't want me to know something and you're really tight with your energy around it, I won't get it. And there's plenty of readers who will push past that and they're like, haha, I'm going to get to, I won't get it. And I'm not working that hard and I don't really care. And if you don't want me to know, I mean, no me importa. Like that's your boundary. I'm good with that. Right. So just feel like we could just open up that energy just a tiny bit. That'd be great. Roy. Okay, great. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah. It's not I need to like out you or anything. It's just, it kind of loosens the energy up a little bit. Well, I am honest. Gets me in trouble a little bit sometimes. Okay, he's currently in a relationship, but I can't stop thinking of him. I feel like he's unhappy. Will we ever get a chance to work things out? Okay. I'm not laughing at you. Sometimes the way guides say things is kind of silly. So I feel like Roy is the eternal Eeyore energy. Like I dated a few people. I've been with a few people like this. So it's literally the idea of like, when you're in a restaurant and you sit with somebody and you're eating and your meal gets served, but then like they're like looking over at what somebody else had and it's like, oh, I wish I would have ordered that. Oh, it's like I dated this one guy. I was like, I mean, I dated a lot of losers, let's be honest. But this one guy. And not that they're horrible people. Listen, I attracted what I was putting out there. So like my mea culpa kind of thing, right? But like this one guy was like, we were in San Francisco and then we went up to Muir Woods and we went camping and we were with like his brother and sister-in-law and his cousin there and his cousin's little girl. And like the whole time he was talking about his ex-girlfriend and how happy he used to be with her. And I'm like, dude, like, but everything was like this Eeyore energy. And then like at a point we broke up because I was just like, I broke up with him. Like it's a long story. Like after he went, he would go on like 6-week camping things and with his friend. And I was like, whatever. I waited till he got back because I wasn't going to ruin his camping trip. It wasn't of no consequence to me, whether I waited or whatever. But he was just that guy. And I feel like Roy's that guy. Roy's that guy that's like just going to be miserable no matter what. Like it's not this idea of like, oh, she's such an evil, terrible girl. He's stuck with, that's misogyny that leads you down that road to think like, oh, she's so terrible. I just think he's like literally the glass is half empty. Eeyore. Oh, Eeyore means like this really, like if you think about the character Eeyore in Winnie the Pooh, he's this ho-hum, depressed, kind of everything's the worst energy. Like it's okay, oh, blah, blah. Like everything is just ho-hum. There's no excitement for Eeyore ever. So I'm not telling you don't be with him. We all have to do whatever we're going to do, or don't try to manifest him. I don't think it's a like he's in a bad situation problem. I feel like this is him. And I also get the sense like you're like, oh, will we work things out? I feel kind of like you're taking on more responsibility than you need to for that relationship. That maybe there was some manipulation that happened where you were made to take more responsibility than you needed to. I guess is the best way to put it. Does that resonate when I say all that? I also get this feeling that you're not owning how amazing you really are. Like, I feel like you kind of hide a little bit. Um, and maybe it's a cultural thing where, and that happens where culturally it's not good to like expand and be like, oh, look at how amazing I'm doing. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just everything's okay. But I feel like you're you're really well respected at work, and um I feel like you would really benefit from doing affirmation work for self concept stuff. I will always, a million times over, tell you that I believe that we can change our thoughts and our brains and what our subconscious thoughts are, that it takes conscious intention and work, but that it's possible to reprogram our brains and how we talk about ourselves. And I don't know that you're going to get a chance to work it out because I almost feel like you're going to do more like this is like just your beginning of your journey to figuring out like how much our thoughts create our reality. I don't know if you know about Neville Goddard and law of assumption and all of that stuff, where it's like what follows I am is really important. But it feels like you start to kind of figure that out and click it. And like, a lot of coaches and things will focus on like getting the external stuff. And I'm not necessarily a coach, but I think when you focus on reprogramming the internal stuff and what follows I am and how we speak to ourselves and like empowerment, the rest of the stuff sort of takes a back seat. It's not that it doesn't matter. It's like it does fall into place, but it doesn't have such a grip on you anymore. I don't feel like you will. And I don't feel like it's because there's something wrong with you, or I just feel like honestly, you're going to do some glow up and some building yourself up to where he's no longer attractive to you. I know. I don't always tell everybody what they want to hear. I really listen, I can be wrong and I will tell you that a million times over. I could be getting it wrong. I always say that my guides give it to me right. I may be interpreting it wrong. So I'm happy to get this wrong. I'm happy to be wrong about it. Um, I don't want to crush your hope. I just feel like they really want you to embrace how amazing you are. And maybe something will happen where, I don't know, you'll see, you'll get a glimpse at what I'm saying is not so great. Thank you, Skirta. I don't want to crush people, but I also can't lie and be like, oh my God, it's totally happening. Tomorrow at noon, he's going to call you. I mean, he may, but okay. Here's the list. Regine, you're up. Mireen, I got your payment. What do I see for you in the next few weeks, Regine? I'm trying to get past some of the like, I feel like there might be actually some like minor health stuff bothering you, plaguing you. I got pulled to my like you saw me rub my jaw here. This is my left side of my jaw. I don't know if there's something going on there where it's just really tight and it's bothering you over the next couple weeks. I also felt very congested. Um and I don't feel like this is debilitating. It may even be a visit to the dentist's office for like a dental issue here on the left side. That might be why this is bothering you. Um, but I still see working through everything. They're showing me opening up like a letter. So it could be they're showing me this way so that I understand it. It could be you opening something on an email, but it's like receiving information that something you applied for um, comes through like it's kind of as expected, but it's like a way for you to continue moving forward. So I don't know if it's like applying for a grant or applying for something, but it's like and this just feels like at work. Good night. See you next time. Oh, you're applying for permanent residence because it's like I see opening it and getting it. It's like as expected, like it all kind of came through. I would go with that for sure. Like that's like, oh yeah. Because sometimes when somebody says something, I'm like, no, that's not it. This is like, yeah, it's like feels like it's this comes through in the next couple of weeks. But I see dealing with that. Sometimes when people apply for residency, I'm like, then I see health stuff, I'm like, ugh, not like just because I think our healthcare system is so screwy. It could be so much better. That is great news. We need all the votes we can get. Okay. You're welcome. Okay. Fort Bronx, let's go. Oops. Doop, doop. The reason I started talking to this guy named Andy who used to talk a few years ago, but I felt like the reason wasn't going anywhere. He's kind of aloof. At first when I looked at it, I thought it said a goof. Okay. I think Andy misses social cues. Like I think he just doesn't um okay. Sorry, I had to take care of something. All right, we're good. Some people don't get to be here. Okay. So I feel okay. So I was saying I feel like he's like again like doesn't get social cues. So like he's oblivious to the fact that oh that's like I should be more interactive or um wow to that person or wow to me. I don't know. um it's okay. Again, I transmute all negative energy. Hi. They're just giving me energy to shine brighter and be better. He's strange. I don't know that he's like, he may be on the spectrum. He may be like, not like not cognitively delayed or anything, but have missing social cues and things. Um, Maybe ADHD as well. So I don't think it's intentional. I feel like with him, the best way to approach him is the most direct communication you can think of. Like, just be really super direct. Like, and he won't be offended by it either. Like, oh, when he does something that, oh, I really like that you texted me and messaged me at this time or whatever, like, oh, that really meant a lot. I wasn't sure. If you say like, oh, I'm not sure if you're really interested in me because, and tell him, lay it out why, I feel like he's not going to be offended by it. It will help open up communication. I don't think it's a lot of work. I don't know. I think a lot of people, I don't know, when there's social rules that you don't understand, or there's ideas that you don't understand. I don't know. I always personally really appreciate direct communication, and I don't get offended by too much stuff. Like, if somebody wants me to leave the house because I'm staying too long, I don't mind if someone's like, all right, we're ready to go. We're going to go to bed. I'm like, oh, okay, sure, no problem. Or my friends are like, one of my closest friends will be like, okay, I got to go. I'm like, yep, go, no problem. Like, I don't need a 15-minute goodbye to soothe anything. Like, let's just, you know, um, I think things can't be solved unless there's clear communication. Yeah. Not direct him. I don't think it's directing him, but it's like, if you have expectations of, this is how I expect to be treated, or this is what helps me know, I feel like it's not directing him. It's like saying like, this is how to communicate with me. So, I think within any relationship, if you have expectations of somebody else and you're not willing to openly communicate to them, they're unfair expectations automatically. If somebody's doing and they're in a relationship with you and it bothers you and you don't communicate with them, it's sort of on you. Because people cannot read your minds. Even people like me. I mean, I've been in relationships where I'll ask directly, like, this is what I'm feeling and picking up. And they're like, no, 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 no. And then like 2 years later, like, well, of course I was feeling that way. I was like, well, just tell me that then. So it just feels like, if you feel like he's aloof, it doesn't feel like, I'm going to say this. It doesn't feel like it's because he isn't interested in you, and it doesn't feel like it's because he's dating a million other people. It just feels like it's because that's kind of his character makeup, to like not know, like, oh, I should have done X, Y, and Z. It's like he gets lost in other projects and sort of gets time blindness and just doesn't realize. But I don't think it's like I've got 15 other girls on side. Maybe I should have said it that way. So, okay. I certainly don't feel like, run, Forrest, run. Like, I feel like, this one's okay to stay with. It's not gonna be terrible. Or run, Jenny, run, I should say. Okay. Gia, you're up. I don't know if Norma's here still watching today, but if she is, currently in nursing school, congratulations. I still want an esthetician license. Go for it. Oh, you know what? That would be really good if you worked in like a dermatology office or like a plastic surgeon's office, to have both. I see you doing both. I don't see it's like a one or the other. I feel like you're at that point where are you doing med surge rounds right now, or like it just feels like nursing care plans for med surge? I just feel like you're at that point where it seems really overwhelming. Um, I also feel like you're in the spot of nursing where it's like when we did so many med surge clinicals, and I was like, I will never work on med surge. That is the worst thing ever. But it's great experience, but classes for anatomy and very overwhelming balancing with my kids and studying. Okay. Uh, I feel like you'll end up doing both. I don't feel like you're dropping out of nursing school. Um, Anatomy and physiology is all memorization. This is what I like. I think that was one I didn't do as well with. I didn't have great study skills. And had I known what I needed to do then, and for me, this is just, I'm telling it to you because it might help you. Um, Writing things over and over and over again, like made everything stick in my brain better than just trying to do flashcards once and then try and do that never stuck with me. It was just writing my notes over and over and over again. There's also, I know a lot of great apps out there that help you study like in the medical stuff better. Um, Also, I feel like saying C's get degrees. I know that's like such a cop out, and a lot of people don't. I actually, my fourth grader, she had been out a lot. She was sick, and she'd been out, and then he had her take a test anyway. Well, he asked her. He gave her a few extra days if she wanted, and she's like, "No, I'll just take it." And she normally does very well in math, and she didn't. She did, and she passed it, but she did not do as well as she normally does because she didn't know the material. And he was like, I was like, "Well, you passed," and he was kind of like, "Ugh." And my thought is because I have a perfectionistic kid, and I'm saying this to you because I think it might be helpful. Um, when you have somebody who's perfectionist, if they're not totally perfect and they're just sort of like okay, it's crushing to them. But the truth is nobody cared about my grade in anatomy and physiology when I got hired as a nurse. No one gave a crap about it. And also, nursing schools are notorious, and some are harder than others for having very tight grading systems. So, like, I think mine was a C minus was a 79 and a 78 was an F. Like, there was no, like, it was tight, right? So my GPA looks like garbage, but really, I didn't do that bad. If you would have put it in somebody else's, like, put the grading systems in somebody else. So I just feel like reminding you that, like, to breathe, to you'll get through it. I also feel like your really beneficial time for you to study, which probably sounds terrible, is to get up early before your kids are up and do it then. And it just feels like, just even if the TV's going and you're hanging out with them or whatever, it's just writing your notes over and over and over again will, I feel like, will help, because there's the tactile, there's the visual, and there's the thought process going on. I feel like that will really help you remember everything. And I also feel like there's video games you can do. Like they have, because I've seen med students talk about it. And anatomy is anatomy is anatomy. Like I'm sure there's video games that might be a great thing for you too. But I don't see you dropping out. And I feel like you need to be reminded that you are really intelligent. Just because something is a struggle doesn't make you dumb. Just because you're having a little bit harder time hacking it doesn't make you dumb, and it doesn't make it impossible. Some stuff is just a little bit more work in life, but it's not impossible. Um, and I'm telling you from somebody who I had a nursing professor say to me, maybe you shouldn't be a nurse. And I was like, huh, double guns here. No, thank you. Like, I'm going to do it. And I took my NCLEX and I passed in 75 questions. And I know you know what that means. So, um, and I had another professor say, like, no one will ever sue you because you have amazing bedside manner. So my point is like, there's going to be great nurses that are like really wonderful and book study and they can remember everything and then they suck at the bedside. And then there's some people that are really amazing at the bedside and they weren't stellar students. And it doesn't mean they weren't meant to be nurses. Don't give up on yourself. I don't see you, by the way, being a hospital nurse for maybe more than a year. I feel like you'll get some experience and then you'll move into doing something more in a clinic setting. So maybe it is taking the esthetician stuff and moving into the clinic and like, working with either a dermatologist or a plastic surgeon in their office. Okay. Hang in there. Nursing school is no joke. And I cannot even imagine having to have done that. I had to work full time because I didn't have any really much assistance. No loans or anything like that. And my father, he helped, but it was certainly not enough to pay all the bills and everything. So Debbie, Miss Lovey, you're up. So hang in there. It's not easy. And it's funny, I even in my head while I was going through that asked if like you would maybe slow down and not go like, take less classes. And I feel like, no, you're full steam ahead. You're going to get through it. Let's see. Debbie, are you here? I think I spelled your name wrong again, by the way. I always do that. You have it on as an I, but then I have a Y. No one, if Deborah's not here, Norma or Rothka or Natalie or yeah, I know Rothka's here. I don't know if Norma's here. I just threw her in there just in case. Oh, I have this. Okay. 11 free anatomy and physiology games and apps. Test prep for nerds. Testprepnerds.com, Gia, if you're here. Oh, I wish we would have had this stuff when I was in nursing school. Okay. All right. I would like to say, Rothka, that she'll be back or like she'll be gone and done, but I don't feel like that. Because I feel this sense of guilt connected to so this is your sister-in-law connected to your brother. I feel like, and not guilt, like it feels like really wanting to be protective of him. So it's your stepmother that's the issue. I feel like she might actually have some health issues coming up for her. So there's something I like. This is going to sound dumb because I'm like, no, due to religious reasons, I don't feel like she would drink, but there's a feeling of having wine in my system or something where it's wreaking havoc on my body. Like something's not right. And maybe it's like, maybe she has diabetes and it's this is what I'm feeling, but it feels like something's not right in my body to where I feel like I don't even know how to explain this. I agree with you. A health issue for your stepmother, not your sister-in-law. So I'm trying to like, but something's not right in her body. Something's not metabolically right. And I also feel like there might be something like brewing in her breasts, like because I feel like she has really dense breast tissue. But we know she's not mentally well, but she's not as physically robust as she comes across. Um, I feel like they may move out and on their own in the next like 18 months. I don't feel like your sister-in-law will leave your brother because I feel like there is a sense of guilt. Like I feel like she feels she was manipulated into this situation. So it feels like, maybe it's that your father makes the decision that that can be on the outside, but it just feels like maybe your father makes the decision to pay for them to have their own apartment or their own place to live. Um, but I don't feel like she'll leave him. I feel like she realizes the problem is not him, but her. And I also feel like she has a very strong sense of pride and does not want to dishonor herself or her family by getting divorced because we just don't do that. I think this is weird to say because I feel like there's no pets in the home because that's also not really a cultural thing to have animals. But I'm seeing like a little white fuzzy animal, and I don't know if it's a cat or a dog, but a small white or light colored animal. Um, Part of her strength is coming from she hears about how difficult you are. So keep being difficult, it gives her strength. She loves cats and doesn't have one. Okay. Okay. So um there may be a little cat coming into their life. So that might be the validation of like when they're on their own that they have a cat. And I say this because I feel like she so when you're in a really toxic abusive situation and you think everybody else thinks this person's fine, everybody else is accepting of this dynamic, it's got to be me. I have to be the problem. And like so that especially when you're moving into a new family dynamic and those people are really toxic and and you're like, I mean, I came from some toxic shit, but like, right? And you see this, it takes a while to sometimes go, yeah, no, this is not, it's not just me. And I feel like when they talk about you being like, oh, your name comes up. um, it just feels like that gives her like that glimmer of like, oh, it's not me. Like I'm not the problem. Okay. All right. Devery, are you here? I saw you before. Natalie, I'll answer your question now. Oh, there you are. You're welcome. Wait, who's Herman? The energy feels male, but there's a female behind it. And I don't understand that. It's not two different energies, but it feels like, I don't know. And who's Herman? Okay, perfect. I do feel like he'll be able to. I feel like he's got a little bit different background. Like the person that I had sent you before, I feel like this guy has a different background. Maybe it's more of a background in like, I don't know if it's voodoo or hoodoo or Santeria or something like that, but it feels like he has a different background. Okay, Glenn Dallas, I'll check for it. Sorry, dear. So does that make sense when me saying he's got like a different background, and I feel like he's more accustomed to this type of energy? I don't know that it's like a one thing. I understand. I feel like it's, I feel like he sees it differently. I don't know either way to say it. So like being able to cut cords and cut ties and do binding and things like, I feel like he does more spell work type stuff. Is he in the area too? I feel like he's local to where you are. Like, oh, here hang on. Glenn Dallas, is it Julie? Is that resonate with the payment? Okay. I just feel like I do feel like it's a better fit. I don't know that it's like a one and done thing. I feel like it's a process of working. It's not. So when I listen to people talk about their practices and they do more the hoodoo-y, Santeria stuff, like they always talk about it being a process for the working, because it's not just like there's a thing to it. Okay, perfect. I got your payment. It says pending, but I don't know. That could just because it's a newer PayPal account and whatever. But anyway, it just feels like it's a process for him to do this work. So it's not just a like, okay, energy work's done. I feel like you'll feel the work. You can make a payment. That's fine. He said he wants to make sure I'm okay. Perfect. I do think he's a good fit for you. And I don't think this will be the only time you work with him, but not because of other bad things. I just feel like you build a trust with him. And so there's other energy work you'll want to go to him for, if that makes sense. So maybe it's for sending blessings over your business or something like that, like bindings and protection for your business, something like that. Okay, what's your next question? And then I'll move on to Natalie. Are you still here, Natalie? Sorry, sometimes it's a long process. Okay. So I think with that store thing, part of the reason why you feel not like you feel stuck and you're not really connected to it is part of this energetic thing that's happening around you. And I feel like once that gets lifted and moved out, you'll feel like you can move forward on it. I don't think you're done with it. And I don't think you're done with it because of the fact that I automatically went to, I feel like you're going to ask him for protection and stuff around that. I feel like whatever this energy is or whatever this connection is, it's kind of sending a little cloud around you for your creativity and your ability to do stuff. So I don't want to say like, oh, you shouldn't do anything. I feel like what is best is working through all this energetic stuff. Yes, I do still see you being successful. And that's why I said I think what's going to happen is this stuff with Herman's going to be successful and you're going to work with him again for setting a blessing and setting something around the business thing. So maybe it is like making sure you're energetically clear to be creative, to be business minded, or no ties to like. And then also, were you here for that affirmation thing I said, which is really awesome? Um, it was this one, and I'm going to say it again because it's so good. Here, right now, I got it on here. It's like pulled up already here. Okay, it's any energy sent my direction, whether spoken or in thought form. I transmute it and I use it to my advantage. It only makes me shine brighter. It makes me more creative, and it makes me it it gives me more to give because they are giving me their energy. So it feels like it would be beneficial to start connecting with that affirmation of like, it doesn't matter what anybody sends me. Like it sort of helps stand in your power more. But I feel like you need to get outside of whatever you're experiencing now in order to be able to move in that direction. Um, I don't think it's two ghosts. I think it's a negative energy and someone else is behind it. And I feel like Herman's going to say that to you. And it's a female behind it. Like sort of, I don't want to say curse, but calling in negative crap for you. And I don't know who she is. And maybe it's connected to, I know it sounds weird, maybe it's connected to past life stuff, like past life, I don't know, incantations or something like that. Like it's bigger than just you're being negative and attracting negative energy. Like I don't feel like it's necessarily like there's something more to it. And I feel like Herman's going to tap into it and get it and be able to tell you more about it. it's just not like, and I feel like it's important that it happens that way, like where it becomes a validation where he says kind of the same stuff I'm saying. So then you feel like more connected to the work he's doing, where it allows more of it to flow through. Because when we don't feel connected to any kind of energetic work that's happening, it's not that it doesn't happen. It's just that when you feel connected to it, it's like way more powerful. And I don't necessarily believe in curses so much, but when we have belief systems that like we're not in the place where we're standing in our own power, then it allows for things to flow in. And I think that's why that affirmation I just read, I don't know, I'm holding up my phone to you because like whatever, but it's on my iPad right now. But when you see stuff differently and it changes, it changes the way things can flow to you is the best way to put it. Like when I worry about, not that I think, oh, people have control over me, but when I worry about somebody's judgment, when I worry about how they're going to view me, if they're going to think I'm pushy or if I'm, a bother or whatever, or annoying, then that allows for negative thought forms to come to me because I'm in a belief system that that's how I show up, right? So the universe goes, oh, that's how you show up. Let's bring it in. And I just feel like, I don't know. I'm sort of rambling here, but I do that to I just feel like it's going to work out well with Herman. I don't feel like this is the only time you're going to connect with him for working with you. And I don't know how you found him, but I just got the feeling of like divine guidance. It was like by happenstance that you found him, and it feels like it was divine guidance to bring him into your life. Okay. I don't know if he does bindings, but I feel like I see him like tying is like looping energy around somebody for protection or for something is the best way I can see it, but not like, but protecting them from themselves. So like, it's not you, it's around these other things. All right, Natalie, here we go. Let's see. Oh, so you're asking about your uncle and you had a disturbing dream, and I don't feel like the dream per se was like that was him visiting per se. I feel like that was your mind working stuff out. And I don't feel like he's stuck in the house. I feel like he likes to be there. So there are energies that there's two parts of it. So he likes to be there, but I also feel like there's echoes of his energy there. So when some of the hauntings that occur in people's houses are not actual spirit energy, it's echoes of our energy being there. So if you always have the pattern of doing something over and over and over and over, you leave energetic imprints places. So some of the stuff that's happening, it's his energetic imprint. And but some of it is like he just likes to be there. I mean, you can send him on his way, but like he just likes to be where he likes to be. He's not stuck. There's very, very few energies that will get stuck. And those ones are usually people who felt like they were so bad and they had a belief system here that said, you have to be a certain way in order to get into heaven, right? And I use Christianity because that's the thing I am most familiar with. And the energies I've connected with had been Christian in life. And they felt like they were such terrible human beings that they just sort of did refuse to cross over because how were they deserving enough? And then they just sort of like envelop all of that negative energy and continue to like scare and feed on other energy that's negative and sad and lower level. And they get to be scarier, bigger, negative energies. But the ones that are like family members and they're just hanging out, they're not stuck. They just like hanging out with you. You can always like send them on their way. I mean, you can send the other ones on their way too, but there's a little more work involved there. Yeah. I feel like he likes the cooking, like the smell of cooking. He likes that. I had this thought while I was driving the other day. It was like sort of like you listen to people just struggle and oh, world is so hard and like we focus so much on the negative stuff, but like a huge part of our incarnating here is just enjoying things and enjoying food and enjoying like when certain people will, demonize things like having multiple partners or enjoying your sexuality or whatever the case that is. It's like, well, that's like part of being here is like your avatar does all these things, right? So I don't know. And part of that's like food and smells and connection and touching, right? And it's not just with people, but like touching, like feeling the earth and feeling the way, textures feel in your hands and things like that. What's there or more? That's okay. It's okay. You can. I like don't go like if there's a clarification about something I've said. That's fine. And Deborah, if you're still here, I'm really glad that you found Herman. He's enjoying his sexuality behind closed doors. Yeah, well, well, so like that's the thing is like that's what we're supposed to do here. So when people demonize all of that, it just makes me really sad for them because oh no, I don't think he has more spirits in the house. I don't think there's more spirits in the house. My point was just like saying like uh, when people feel shame around who they are, around the experiences that they enjoy here, it's really sad because it's like that's why we're meant to be here. And I'm not, if it's not hurting anybody, right? So I'm not talking about like the people who get off on like hurting other people. That's not what I'm talking about. But I mean, just, like if you're two consenting adults, you're not hurting anyone. Multiple people died there. Oh, at the home? No, I don't feel like there's anything else stuck there. I think more than anything, some of the extra stuff is again just energetic imprints. So all you have to do on that is like you open the windows whenever you do any kind of clearings. You can use frankincense, unless you're I don't know, you guys aren't indigenous, but I like frankincense over sage because I learned sage welcomes spirit, and we don't want to do that. We want to clear the energy. So you can get frankincense little cones and burn them and open the windows because that helps the energy leave. And it's really not like there's no like get out Satan. It's just like clearing, with the intention. I'm burning this with the intention of clearing energy that no longer serves this purpose to bring in fresh new energy that's for the highest love and light. Kind of really it's I'm like the wording doesn't really matter so much as long as you're not like doing it out of fear, and you're asking for the old stuff to leave and the new stuff to come in. It doesn't have to be like certain praises or anything, like you don't have to say Hail Marys or anything like that. I don't know. I think I used to worry like when I first started going to church and like trying to figure out what I believed. And I was in high school. I started going with a friend of mine, and it was a non-denominational whatever. And it was like I was afraid, like what's praying? Like how do you pray? Like I thought, there's got to be a certain way to pray. And so I'm like, oh Lord, can I pay totally irrelevant? Like, yeah, if you want to, or you can They're in Costa Rica, so you tell them. Perfect. Tell them. They might use sage then. I don't know. So because like in the indigenous cultures here, sage is more normal. So I don't want to say like don't use it, but I always say like use frankincense. I don't know. I try to be respectful of other, like I don't want to, I don't know. What I learned from other religions and spiritual beliefs, especially indigenous ones, because I think I connect, they make more sense to me than some of the other new agey stuff. I do try to be respectful and like if that's the rule, like I want to, if I've heard that, I'm like that resonates. I could see that because sometimes I feel like when I've used sage in the past, before I knew, I was like, oh, this is a little stinker of an energy. We got to get out of here. So, okay, Joelle, what are your questions? Y'all, I ordered something new. I'm just telling you. It's going to be this like partition thing that goes behind me and then I can hang pictures on it. So that I won't have the blue background anymore. We'll see if it looks better because people have always said like the blue background looks like a DMV blue. It's a nice blue when you're sitting in it. It's nice and calming, but it doesn't show up as nice on camera. Okay, sounds good. Okay, so I'm gonna like hang little stuff on it. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm getting in a spurt of wanting to decorate more. My house is not decorated very well. I don't know. It's a long story why I got there and why also I've never been a big decorator. Like my sisters are, my mom is. There could be layers of reasons. Anyway, okay. I love blue. Blue makes me happy. And it is a really pretty blue, but it doesn't show as well on camera as it does to your raw eyeballs. If you know what raw eyeballs are. Okay. Okay. So looking to several options of opening a restaurant business abroad. Do I see it happening? And can you tell me what abroad means to you? Because abroad to me means where you're at. So can you just say the name of the country if that's okay? If you don't feel if you want to type it, I won't say it out loud and then delete it. That's fine too. I automatically, I'm going to say this before you even type it. I automatically feel like it's going to be successful. I see it being more of like a little cafe style restaurant than like a formal restaurant. I feel like there's more of a cafe aspect to it. And it feels like the weather's a little bit warmer. Okay, there I just saw that the Arab were in the States. I feel like it's warmer weather because I feel like I can be outside a little bit more. But again, it feels more like a little cafe because I see a display case. And I feel like it'll be more of like a lunch breakfast place rather than having, it doesn't feel like just a dinner place. I feel like you're really good at this. And I know it's kind of in the family, but I feel like you're really good at it. I don't know if I see it in the States yet. I feel like I feel like more in the Arab countries first. But something more progressive where they wouldn't have a problem with a woman owning and running it. And I don't know what that means. I mean, I know what it means, but I don't know enough about the other countries to say like, oh, it's this one. I know Egypt isn't an Arab country, but it could even be in Egypt. like a Northern Africa. And then a general love update. This is again where when you don't energetically put yourself out there, and I'm not talking about like even just like joining stuff, but when energetically you're like, you're totally okay being single. And I feel kind of like more focusing on yourself, which is, the restaurant stuff. I feel like dating people, but I don't feel like anything hits for a little while. And I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. And I also don't feel like, oh, everybody's so terrible. It just feels like, oh, like I feel like you're taking a more light-hearted aspect to dating. So just not clicking, and that's fine. Like it's like it is what it is. It's like just learning to enjoy it for what it is and like not be devastated that it's not the one. Maybe Morocco. It just whatever it feels like, it feels a little warmer, and it feels like there's more of like there's an aspect of being able to open the doors and windows and like have fresh air coming in, like where it's not all sealed up and cold and frigid. And it doesn't have the aspect. I really just don't feel energetically the United States. Like there's such a different vibe in other countries than there is here. True about the dating issue. So it just feels like learning to just maybe it's like practice dating, right? Just getting like comfortable putting yourself out there without any like pressure of being like, I have to find the one. Cause I feel like you're in this balance of learning to like just fully embrace yourself. And a lot of women are doing that right now. So I want to say that, like, just fully embracing themselves and not feeling necessarily needing to be tied to somebody else. Are you satisfied with that answer? I feel like that's also when I say practice, it's like because you've never dated with that, like if somebody seems like they would add to my experience, then I'm happy to have them here. But I'm totally like if they're going to detract from it, then I'm just, just interesting to connect with that and then, be done with it. So, okay, Natalie, ask your last question. Oh, you went to the grocery store. I forgot. I was like, where'd it go? I need to water my plants. Got lots of plants I need watering. You here, Natalie? You still here? Don't forget to, if you're not subscribed to my email list, go over to my website, myspiritualfriend.com, and subscribe to my email list, and then you get a chance to win a free reading. I think the woman who won this week it's nighttime there right now, so like late, so she may not. Excuse my yawn. It's so funny. I was thinking about like, so I'm not shunning Christianity or anything, all those beliefs, but I always worry so much about like offending people. But I always find too, the people that I know are really connected to their religion, that even that follow me or stuff, they're still very respectful of it. Like they're not like, oh, you're terrible. And that's something I always worry about. And I was just thinking about that. Like, oh, everybody's been really supportive, even though I worry so much. That's so silly. There's a lot of bizarre little occurrences at my sister and brother-in-law's house. They're not necessarily frightened, but just more like what's going on. Their house is super old, and we wondering if it's a spirit. So some of it is the energetic imprints, like I've talked about before. And there is an energy of a little boy there and an energy of an older man there. And I feel like the little boy, that house, I feel like goes back to the early 1900s, like 1900, if not 1898. I feel like it's old. Am I right on that? If I'm right on that, I feel like it's a little boy who might have passed from the flu in the 1918 flu pandemic. And the older man, I feel like, I don't know if he's a carpenter but I feel like he fixed things around the house and he feels really connected to the house. And he feels like he would have been a bit older when he passed. And I don't know if it's in the house or not, but it's more just connection to the house. It's nothing scary or bad. Does any of that resonate when I say that? Or if you can, do you know how old the house was? It does. So I feel like 1940. Was there a house on the land before that? So like my house, the house behind me was built in 1896. And my land used to be connected to that house. And there used to be, where my house is, a barn. And the energy that was wreaking havoc when we first moved in here. Like when I first moved in, there was an old lady energy that I saw, and I was like, oh, she just likes our energy. That's why she's here. Because she said she was glad we were here. But no, she was glad I was here so that I could help remove this energy that she was connected with that was stuck, essentially. But I knew there was a building here before mine. So it's like, was there a building? Oh, it makes sense because there's a playful presence. Okay. So then that little boy might have been connected more to like what was there rather than what's there now. So if it's not a problem and it's not scaring them, it can stay. It doesn't feel like anything bad. I feel like also there's like, I keep seeing like little like metal, like things that you might find if somebody did a little fixer upper stuff around the house. Like, so it feels like they might find little things kind of left behind, like a screw and you're like, why is this like seem like it's coming out of nowhere? Like it was just tight. I feel like that's connected to the older man. So if they can just ask for the energy to like not do that. Like, we acknowledge you're here. It's okay that you're here, kind of thing. Or they can clear it. Like, I'm never like, leave them alone. They're nice. It's like, it's your house. And so this is the other thing where spirit is way more respectful of boundaries than the living are. So I'm always like, you can just ask them to leave. Like, it doesn't have to be a big hooey pooey thing about it. But if they're not bothering you and you're okay with them staying, like, let them stay. But certainly if it's like even just slightly annoying to you, this is our plane of existence to experience. And so it's perfectly okay and not selfish or terrible or mean to ask them to move on, even if they're not negative or bother. Okie dokie. All right. I've been on almost 2 hours. I'm going to go. I feel like I got to go to the bathroom. I've been drinking a lot of tea. So I hope everybody has, yes, ask and find out, and then give me validations because I love validations. I hope everybody has a wonderful week. Please, please, please sign up for these circles if you are at all interested. They're Thursdays. I think I wrote noon to 1:30. They're the next 4 Thursdays. There's still plenty of space available. Um, and it's for every level. So even if you've done a circle before, you can always grow and do more. I am always growing my abilities and finding things very interesting. Oh, Glenn Dallas. Yes, 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 yes. Ask your question. Thank you for saying that. Yes, 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 yes. I'm so sorry. I forgot to add you into the list. Thank you for catching me. I'm so glad you have fast little whippersnapper hands and I kept talking. Um, so I was going to say is, yeah. So join the circle, grow your intuition, grow your connections. It's not necessarily that because you want to become a reader, but I think it doesn't hurt to understand like if you have like, oh, I get gut feelings, but I never know how to trust them or what it feels like, or I'm never sure. This is the perfect way to learn and trust it more. Thank you for speaking up. You're very welcome, Natalie. Thank you for trusting me. As always, share me with others. I crashed my car into a sign. Oh, that's right. I crashed my car into a sign last night. I'm worried about my insurance not covering all the damages because of my financial situation right now. I feel like they cover it except for, your deductible. So it might be like $500 you have to pay. And even though that's tight, I feel like you get assistance somehow. And I don't know what this means. So I don't know if it means like a family member lends you the money, but I feel like somehow you get it to where then you can pay that amount off. And I know this is my like easy to say in that situation, but it feels like just start adopting the belief system. Everything is always working out for me. The universe always makes everything. I'm not going to worry about it. Like, and I've said so many times myself where I look at a situation that seems just impossible. And I'm like, I'm not worried about it. The universe is going to have everything work out for me. No, I don't feel like it goes up after that because I feel like it's a policy where it won't go up after the first one. It's like after the third event or something like that. Do you have Geico? I also feel like there's something that is under warranty on your car that needs to be fixed, and they'll find that when you go in. Okay. All right. You're going to be okay. Hang in there. Everything's always working out for you in your favor. Best case scenario. Yes. So I don't know. Victoria, that astrology person, was like, listen to this lucky girl stuff. And so I started listening to it and I put it on the last, let me find it. Oh. And then I really have to go. I'm going to find it and post this affirmation thing that you should listen to because it's really good. Here it is. Sorry, you have to listen to the commercial there because I have to pull it up and then copy it and paste it. Here. I'm copying and pasting it here, and then I will throw it into the description. That's a great one to listen to. I don't feel like it's 3,000. I feel like it's whatever your deductible is. So like 500 is kind of where I feel at it. you know, accidents happen. Don't beat yourself up for it. Okay. All right. I'm sending everybody love. Have a wonderful week. And I will see you next Sunday. Check out some of my TikTok stuff if you want to learn how to connect with your intuition and start trusting it more. Join my circle. I'll see you guys later.